Have you ever stopped to think about the words we use? Today, we're going to dig into how one single Latin root, something born in the ancient halls of Roman power, is still secretly shaping our language of authority, truth, and even how we argue.
So, let's start with a quote from the Roman playwright Plautus. "A word to the wise is sufficient." Now, this isn't just some old, dusty proverb. It's actually a perfect window into the Roman mindset. See, for them, words spoken with authority weren't just heard, they were felt. They had real weight.
I know. It sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? A pillar of justice on one hand and a symbol of total rule on the other. But believe it or not, the answer is hiding in plain sight, inside a single, powerful Latin root that connects them both across 2,000 years.
All right, to solve this puzzle, we have to go back, way back to where it all began. Let's dive into Section 1, when saying was law.
Okay, so picture yourself standing in the middle of the Roman Forum. For the Romans, when an official spoke, it wasn't just, communication, it was a raw exercise of power. Those words carried the absolute force of law and could literally change your life in an instant. So, for example, if a Roman magistrate delivered an edictum, that's a decree. It wasn't a suggestion, it wasn't up for debate. The moment those words left his mouth, boom, they were binding law for everyone. In ancient Rome, saying really was doing.
And at the very heart of this whole system was the Latin verb dicere. This little verb gives us our root dict. It's super simple. It just means to say, to tell, or to declare. And believe me, this is the key that unlocks everything we're talking about today.
So now that we have the key, let's move on to Section 2 and see how this one simple root builds words that are all about command and power. Let's talk about speaking with authority.
This is where it gets really cool. You can see how words of power are built, piece by piece. Take the word dictator. It's not just a title, it's literally a job description. You break it down, you get dict, to speak, and you add the ending ator, which means one who does. So a dictator is simply one who speaks with authority. That's it. It was a real role the Romans invented for emergencies, giving one guy absolute say over everything.
And you see this pattern over and over. Let's build another word. We'll start with our root, dict.
And now we'll add the suffix ate. And what do we get? Dictate. To speak words that carry the force of an order. You can just picture a general dictating a command to a soldier who's writing it down.
Hey, and remember that edictum we talked about a minute ago? Well, here it is in English as edict. The prefix e just means out, and dict means to say. So an edict is, quite literally, an official order that has been spoken out loud by a ruler for everybody to hear and, well, obey.
But here's the thing. This root isn't just a one-trick pony for giving orders. It's incredibly versatile. So let's check out how it also shapes our ideas about truth and even fighting against the truth. On to Section 3, Truth and Contradiction. And this brings us back to our big question from the start. A jury's verdict comes from vere, which means truly, and our root, dict, meaning said. So a verdict is literally what is truly said. It's the final, undeniable truth of a legal case.
The logic is just so clean once you see it. Take the prefix pre. It means before. You add that to dict, to say, and you get predict, which is just the act of saying what's going to happen before it actually happens. Simple as that.
So DICT can be used to lay down the law, to establish truth, even to see the future. But what if you want to push back? What happens when you use this powerful root to speak against an idea?
Well, that's exactly where contradict comes from. The prefix contra means against. So to contradict is literally to speak against whatever someone else just said. I mean, the meaning is just baked right into the word itself.
And if we bring it back to a legal setting, it gets even more serious. To indict someone uses the prefix in, which in this case also means against. So, to indict someone is to formally declare against them, officially accusing them of a crime using the power of spoken official words. Okay, let's tie all of these different threads together and see what this all means for us. Right now, in our final section, the echoes of Rome. To really get a grip on dict, it actually helps a lot to compare it to another similar root, VOC. Now, VOC is all about the voice, the physical sound, the act of calling out. Dict, on the other hand, is all about the content of the speech, the actual message being declared. And here is the absolute perfect way to remember the difference.
An advocate uses their voice to call you to a cause, but a dictator uses their words to tell you what you have to do. See that? One is a call to action, the other is a command.
So here it is, the main takeaway from all of this. Words like verdict, contradict, dictate, they're not just words. They are living history. They're like little time capsules. Every single time you use one of them, you are, maybe without even realizing it, echoing the power of Roman authority from a time and place where speaking officially was the same as commanding reality itself.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? We've just uncovered the whole story behind DICT, but it makes you wonder, what other incredible histories, what other hidden powers are locked away in the words you use every single day?